let's talk about the consequences with the end of the neutrality on the network. Recently, the Federal Commission of Communications of the United States made an announcement with the end of the rules for the neutrality on the internet. These rules was based to protect the consumer and avoid that the companies that supply the service for the telecommunications have the power of the internet and they can charge for additional fares. But in this case, what they was pretending is to give a faster speed through the internet in specific contents in the network. Let's talk in political terms. First, now the authorities are given the power to only 4 carriers, main carriers, because they can block or they can slow down the speed of the internet, and it's going to be based in their own decision or in their own interest. Thanks to this law, now the users are going to have new prices, and it's going to depend from the service that they are acquiring. But I don't know if you know this, but 50% of the American population only have opportunity to hire the service of one carrier. So they don't have another opportunity to choose another one. I mean 50% of the population, and that's the United States. Mexico, I think the case is worse. So now the suppliers of the internet, they're gonna be, the richest men on the world. Actually, the benefit is only for 4 companies, as I say, for 4 main carriers in the United States. And now they can choose which kind of traffic they are going to benefit. So let's talk about specifically about the consequences of this end of the neutrality. First one, the service that we use online, like streaming, is going to be more expensive. Second, all companies that are going to be the biggest companies. What I mean is, for instance, let's talk about Amazon. Amazon, they have the capacity to pay in order to don't have problems with the performance with these carriers. But what about the small companies, the small entrepreneurs that want to have their business and want to use the internet to make sales? So right now they're going to have a huge problem, because now they have to pay for in order to have the possibility to have more customers. Third, some services that used to be free, they're going to be finished, because these services have to pay if they want to survive. So right now, from the economic point of view, it's not going to be viable to survive offering free services and charging for the premium. Right now, this is going to affect to not only to huge companies, but also small companies. And the worst thing is that there is not only the users of the United States, because at least 50% of the main websites and services and applications, guess what? They come from the United States. Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, Apple, some service of Google, you name it. So what is going to happen is that we're going to have an internet with control from these 4 companies. And unfortunately, there is a possibility that all these digital entrepreneurs and people around the world is going to be like fighting against a big Goliath. And finally, but not last, censor. There is another point that is going to be a big issue, because now these companies that supply the service for telecommunications, they can block or they can censor any content that they want, as they want, for any kind of reason. This global phenomenon and the consequences that is going to happen is not going to affect just to the United States. It's going to affect to the rest of the world. Can you imagine what is going to happen? Okay, look what is happening right now in China. In China, the internet is not free. The internet is controlled by the government, and they censor, for instance, services like Google or Facebook. So now we're talking about that Canada, Europe, Africa, Latin America is going to be affected by this law. So I think that the technology is for all, and last Thursday it was like an end of an era of what we used to think about the internet. If you want to share your comments with me, you agree or not, send me a communication through my social media. You can find me as at Cyber Thompson, and I hope that in the future we can have again this neutrality of the internet. Thanks.